On Wednesday, 25th March this year, the reports of 3 commissions of inquiry were presented to His Excellency, marking the closure of a process which united citizens on your call for accountability in public office. Following the presentation of those reports, Section 149, subsection 4 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone provides, and I quote verbatim, that the President shall, subject to the provisions of subsection 4, cause to be published the report of a Commission of Inquiry together with white paper thereon within 6 months of the date of the submission of the report by the Commission. We are here this afternoon, Thursday, 24th September 2020, which is within 6 months of the date of the submission of the report by the Commissions of Inquiry. Therefore, today's event is a merger of 2 core values of His Excellency, which he has exhibited throughout his presidency: upholding the national constitution and promoting accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I now invite the Principal Advisor to the government, the Attorney General, for a presentation of the report.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, the Honorable Vice President, the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Minister, and all ministers present, members of the Judiciary led by the Chief Justice, members of the Diplomatic Corps, I greet you all. His Excellency, the reports and white papers of the 3 commissions of inquiry, Justice Bioberry Jeffrey, Justice Bankole Thompson, and William Atububa, each of them chairmen and sole commissioners of the 3 commissions of inquiry, are going to be published by His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Madabio, as required by the Constitution of Sierra Leone, 1991, Act number 6 of 1991. The 3 commissions chairmen were appointed by His Excellency the President by constitutional instruments number 64, 65, and 67, dated the 1st day of August 2018 and the 27th day of September 2018, respectively. Unlike previous constitutional instruments that were laid before Parliament, these constitutional instruments were ratified by Parliament after thorough deliberations by its members, culminating into the establishment of the various commissions of inquiry. On the 25th day of January 2019, His Excellency the President administered the oath of office to the 3 chairmen and sole commissioners. The mandate of the commissions included inter alia inquire into and investigate persons who are President, Vice President, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers, and heads and chairmen of boards of parastatals of their performances in the respective public offices. They were also to examine their assets and other related matters to ascertain whether the persons of interest to the commissions maintain a standard of life above that which was commensurate to their official emoluments, or owned or were in control of pecuniary resources or property disproportionate to their official emolument, or there were evidence of corruption, dishonesty, or abuse of office for the public benefits. On the 4th day of February 2019, the commissioners commenced public hearings at the Special Court Complex on Jomo Kenyatta Road. The work of the commissions were based on transparency and the rule of law. Notwithstanding that, some members of the public contended either ignorantly or otherwise that there are no rules of evidence as provided for by the 1991 Constitution. And therefore, the commissions of inquiry should not commence their work without promulgation of the rules of the commissions of inquiry as contained in the 1991 Constitution. Calculatedly, these rules were formulated into objections by the various counsel representing the persons of interest to the Commission. Gratefully, the Commissioners considered the said objections raised and ruled that the Constitutional Instruments 64, 65, and 67 provided that the commissions should be regulated by the practice and procedure in force in the High Court, with such modifications, adaptations, and exceptions as are necessary to enable the Commission elicit all such information as may be necessary for the performance of their functions. Further, the Commissioners, for the purposes of the above, gave practice directions for the commissions. The main source of evidence adduced against them were obtained from the Auditor General's annual report submitted to Parliament during the period under review. On the 25th day of March 2020, the Commissioners presented their reports containing recommendations to His Excellency, the President, Brigadier Retired Dr. Julius Maada Bio. Today, His Excellency is going to cause to republish the reports together with the white papers on the three reports. These reports, pursuant to Section 149, subsection 2 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991. The said subsection reads, the President shall, subject to the provisions of subsection 4, cause to be published the report of a commission of inquiry together with the white paper thereon within 6 months of the date of the submission of the report by the Commission. For the avoidance of any doubt, the publication today fully complies with the provision I have just referenced in the 1991 Constitution. The white papers contain the reaction of His Excellency's government to the recommendations in the report submitted to him. This publication will not only satisfy the constitutional requirements, but also the expectations of the general public as to the outcome of the commissions of inquiry. Let me remind the general public that since the promulgation of the 1991 Constitution, several commissions of inquiry have been held by successive governments in the past. For example, in 2009, former President Ernest Bai Koroma and his government instituted a commission of inquiry by Constitutional Instrument number 8 of 2009, chaired by EEC Charles Moses, with the mandate to investigate incidences of political violence and intolerance that occurred in Freetown, Kenema, and Jandema in March 2009. Also, another commission of inquiry was instituted by the President Koroma administration, chaired by Justice Samenga Jane, with the mandate to investigate the Tijankara administration. Interestingly, the rules of evidence were never issued in both instances. The just concluded commissions of inquiry are impartially conducted, as the commissioners gave the persons of interest the opportunity to defend allegations that were made against them. Regrettably, the majority did not turn up to account for your stewardship. That notwithstanding, it is strike law that unchallenged evidence is good evidence, and so the commissioners held. The judges who were appointed are highly reputable in our region and Sierra Leone, as in the case of our very own, the Honorable Justice Bankole Thompson. His Excellency the President will today make public the reports containing the work of the commissions and the government reaction in the form of the white paper. Finally, let me say that the official publication of the reports, together with white papers, is just the beginning of a long process of retrieving what was unlawfully appropriated from the people of Sierra Leone, and that my office, together with other law enforcement agencies, is fully prepared to undertake the same. Your Excellency, Mr. President, with these few words, I now formally present the report to you, sir.
Thank you very much, the Attorney General. It appears, Your Excellency, that even the showers today are supporting your unwavering commitment to fighting corruption and restoring accountability. On that note, Your Excellency, we will now pray silence for His Excellency to deliver a statement following the presentation of the report. Your Excellency, sir.
The Honorable Vice President, Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Chief Justice, Chief Minister, Cabinet Ministers, Members of Parliament, the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Civil Society, Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am back, hale and healthy. Not in the body bag as many had wished, but marched like an old soldier. Old soldiers never die. I also bring back good news that ends the agony and suffering of 130 of our compatriots in Lebanon. On September 21st, 13 of them arrived in Sierra Leone on board the Turkish Airlines. Further engagements with authorities in the consulate in Lebanon and authorities in Lebanon and agencies supporting the repatriation will continue until the last citizen returns home safely. My government is already providing psychosocial support care for the first batch, and we will soon finalize community reintegration support packages, including microcredit grants and business startup kits for them. Their suffering and pain reminds us as a government and as a country that we should and we must do everything in our power to provide opportunity for every Sierra Leonean in Sierra Leone. That is why my government has prioritized human capital development with 3 key staples: free quality education, accessible and affordable health care, and food security through domestic food production. Our initiatives are bearing fruits, and within the last 2 years, we are making steady progress Preliminary data tells us that we are reducing maternal mortality and saving more lives because of the National Ambulance Services and investment in healthcare infrastructure and services in Sierra Leone. Our significantly low and declining COVID infection and death rates show that in spite of significant resource and other constraints, our interventions have been effective. We have received commendations internationally, and countries are adopting some of our measures to combat the pandemic. That said, COVID-19 is rare and deadly, and we must all be attentive to all healthcare directives in order to protect ourselves and our loved ones. At this juncture, let me congratulate 431,551 candidates who just completed the National Primary Examination, the Basic Education Certificate Examination, and the West African Senior Certificate Examination. This is by far the largest number of Sierra Leoneans who have had a chance to transition from one critical point of their education to another. In the last 2 years of my government's free quality education policy, there has been a 74% increase in the number of students who have attempted public exams. Even amidst global COVID-19 school closures, our country has achieved great success. Our education sector partners believe in our free quality education program and its impact for the future of our country. Within the last 6 months, they have mobilized about $66 million to support education in Sierra Leone. The World Bank's recent free education project is the largest investment in the sector. With this, we will continue to work to give access to and to keep our children, especially the girls, in school. Our sexual offenses model courts are operational, and we not relent in our fight to protect and empower women and girls, and also fully include them in the development of this nation. As I have always reiterated, corruption is a threat to our moral timber as a nation of upstanding citizens, to our development, and to our national security. Our only option is to confront corruption head-on. Our only option is to confront corruption head-on and fight it boldly and resolutely. It is a fight we must fight. It is a fight we must win, because it is a fight for the very soul of our nation. We have made great progress over the last 2 years. National and international indicators have lauded our great success. We are encouraged by the success, but we must sustain the fight against corruption for our collective national good and for the future of our children and this nation. As the Attorney General and Minister of Justice has stated, the commissions we are tasked with conducting independent, fair, thorough, and impartial investigations into allegations of corruption and abuse of public office, and to make relevant findings and appropriate recommendations. All persons who we are summoned to the commissions of inquiry, we are not summoned because of their ethnic group, their religion, or their political party. They were summoned because they had been entrusted with the supreme responsibility to serve Sierra Leone. It is their conduct as individuals and their decisions while they serve this country that were the subject of close scrutiny by the commissions. So these commissions of inquiry should also serve as a strong warning to serving officials that you have a duty of care to make the best decisions and act always in the best interest of citizens of this country and the nation. When one is appointed to serve one's country, one must also do so honestly, fairly, and with justice and diligence and compassion. Do not make Sierra Leoneans, especially the children, youth and women, victims of your greed. Although the Anti-Corruption Commission has the statutory mandate to combat corruption and investigate unlawfully acquired wealth, particularly in the public sector, the general public hardly gets an opportunity to actively and regularly follow up on most of the particularly high-profile investigations and prosecutions, because the operations of the ACC are mostly covered in execution. The Commission of Inquiry gave an opportunity to the people of this country to audibly follow the stewardship of persons in authority and see firsthand how some of those persons betrayed the public trust that was reposed in them by the people of Sierra Leone. Citizens are reminded also that they must actively but fairly question errant leaders. It is their civic duty to question unexplained wealth. But citizens are also reminded that when ministers or parastatal heads steal or fraudulently convert state resources, they do so not to make themselves and their immediate family members comfortable. When corrupt leaders build mansions and accumulate huge bank accounts, it is not for their ethnic groups, region, political party to live on, but for themselves. It is for themselves and for their immediate families. We've had several commissions of inquiry in post-independence Sierra Leone. But Sierra Leoneans seem to have learned little to nothing from those past inquiries. We are determined to make this the last commission of inquiry in this country. This is not the usual charge, convict, levy tepid punishments, and reinstitute or reinstate as soon as citizens turn the other way. Once and for all, we are determined to draw a line. The staff who are attached to the various commissions, including investigators and security personnel, public persons who appeared at the commission to testify, and those who gave information that was helpful to the work of the commission. I also thank journalists who cover the sittings of the commissions, in an open and transparent manner, and for the benefit of both local and international audiences. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to name the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC Television, a public broadcaster, and the Africa Young Voices, AYV Television, a privately owned broadcasting station. I also acknowledge and thank civil society, religious, allegations of corruption and abuse of public office to make relevant findings and provide appropriate recommendations to the government of Sierra Leone for our consideration. We are mindful that time and space could not permit an inquiry of this nature to cover every single economic, financial, and administrative activity of the immediate past government. But the commissioners did their best in the circumstances. They all served meritoriously. Government has carefully looked at the report of the commissions and the recommendations. The white paper documents the recommendations the government has accepted in the best interest of the people of Sierra Leone. Unlike other commissions, citizens are assured that this government will fully implement all the recommendations. I repeat, government will implement all the recommendations to the letter. The publication of this report is done pursuant to Section 149, subsection 2 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, 1991, Act number 6 of 1991. The reports of the various commissions of inquiry established by the constitutional instruments numbers 64, 65, and 67 of 2018 are officially published together with their white papers. The Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice is instructed to effect the recommendations of the commissions of inquiry to recover all monies recommended to be returned to the people of Sierra Leone and to confiscate all assets recommended to be confiscated and all other such penalties as recommended. Persons and entities affected by the recommendations are guaranteed a peaceful and transparent judicial appeal process through which they can seek relief. So let me therefore caution every Sierra Leonean that the rule of law is supreme in this country. That the rule of law is supreme in this country. Those who may wish to incite or engage in unrest and violence in order to obstruct the process of implementing the full enforcement of the recommendations will be subject to the full force of the law. This is not the last of investigations into corruption by former leaders. The ACC and other law enforcement agencies are mandated to investigate issues that the commissions of inquiry did not have sufficient time to investigate. Investigations, arrest, and prosecution for corruption will continue as long as they are permissible within the laws of our country. Let me conclude by formally receiving the reports of the Commission and the white paper as mandated by laws of this country. These are the reports and the white papers and I have the opportunity, the privilege to formally launch these ones and also use the opportunity again to warn our fellow compatriots that they carry the full force of the law. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Can we rise for a round of applause for His Excellency for such show of determination, continued commitment, and the passion which he has used to ensure that we promote accountability in governance. Please be seated. Your Excellency, like I said earlier, the showers from blessings and the heavens are open to even welcome the report of the white paper. So we are thankful for the rains. On that note, may I inform members of the press that the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Deputy Minister of Justice have kindly consented to stay to answer questions regarding the white paper.
Joseph Sano, now His Excellency, of course, in fact the Attorney General presents the Commission of Inquiry's report. Now, one for know as a civil society, what in you check on this?
Well, this is not something where I think the manifesto promise of the president. So if he don't make this promise, and we see say within 6 months, and today where he don't launch and it within that 6 months, we welcome him, and like how he say, it will go by the letter, the recommendation. Every money we person each from the government kobo, and not say which the one way you go get for himself. At least let us make sure say we get them back and they use it on the free quality education, they use it on health, they use it on agriculture. That na main thing. So we as civil society get for monitor them, and we the challenge where they are nobody know what's in there inside the white paper. So we get for work with the Ministry of Finance now and Ministry of Justice for make sure say as civil society we go to the least village for popularize waiting there inside this white paper. Now that's now we own.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joseph Sano. And of course we get a lot of other people in there. Of course we don't talk to civil society. We try for make sure say we get them. Well, I got now Moses. Yes, Moses. Waiting on my own take on the presentation of the reports of the Commission of Inquiry in the White Paper.
Well, we're glad for the reports because we don't follow from where this government come in with regards to the Commission of Inquiry up to today. So I think say today na a historic day in the history of this country since 1961. For see a sitting democratically elected government, they follow up on a word on accountability and transparency and also the fight against corruption. What don't happen here today unprecedented, and they don't lay the platform for make even the current administration be careful with the use of public funds and resources allocated for the development of this country. So for we civil society, we're very happy, we're very impressed. We are going to follow up now with the white paper for ensure say as the president don't instruct the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General for make sure say then follow up the implementation. Now the role of we society get for make the public understand say this is not about witch hunt, this is not about political gimmick or not about way for one other political opponent, but now a way for lay this country on a platform for accountability and transparency even for the future.
Thank you very much. All right, and now now the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, the of course they welcome questions from the press.
Specifically, when we are talking about the highlights of the report, we want to know exactly how many people their properties will be seized and those who are going to be reimbursing the government. told according to the report. A breakdown of that will be very important for us to put our story into context.
I think the scientific communication unit sharing the report with you will be able to answer questions. But all persons who are investigated, not all of them advise findings in their case. Some the commissioners did not find anything against, some they do, and some they recommended. We cannot give you a clear list of all of them now, they all contain the report. And as I said, the report that is public document, it will be made available to you maybe any moment from this meeting.
The findings, let's say for example, what are the findings of former president?
Former President Nkrumah was investigated by Commission number 2.
Very strong civil society, somebody by the name of
Abdul M.
Fatoma. Now, just want the views about the presentation of the Commission of Inquiry reports where the Attorney General presented His Excellency.
I mean, they're a good step. We want to see public accountability in this country, you know, so if they move towards that direction, they're a very good thing and welcome thing. But in that process, as a civil society, we more believe in the fairness, the transparency of the entire process. So when once it's fair and it's transparent, in the best interest of the people of this country, that in the best interest of a political party, a political ideology, and civil society will condemn it. But when once it's in the best interest of the people of this country, we will support the process.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Highlight, and if you look at everything that and as president, including benefits, investments in companies that we own before he became president, he only stayed at the 2000 billion. And the properties that we actually linked to him, the values were attached to him. The commissioner came to the conclusion that he acquired properties far above his official environment.
Yes, I'll tell you. How will the government pay the bills who have already traveled, or have already traveled out of the country, that stay out of the country, now that the white papers are out on the recommendations? How will this address them?
Well, the recommendation of the commissioners is actually equivalent to that of the judgment of the High Court. And when you have the judgment, of course, for you to consider. For those who are out of the jurisdiction and they have participated in the Republic of Sierra Leone, definitely these properties were clearly mentioned in the Commissioners of the War report, and those properties will be prosecuted against. And also, for them have bank accounts, specifically mentioned, definitely required to prosecute against those properties. It's not specifically saying that we need a basically we have properties that are mentioned, definitely the universities and other law enforcement will take steps to ensure that the findings are executed against those properties.
And the next native consulting and research center was really making a statement to mention of the fact that based on timeline, the Commission of Inquiries will be able to bring all the duty bearers or those that are serving in those offices at that particular time. But however, the country's Anti-Corruption Commission is charged also with the responsibility to bring on board those who were not actually targeted by, or brought in by the COI. How soon are those who are left out or never faced the COI are going to be investigated by the Anti-Corruption?
That's ongoing and based on available evidence, pieces of evidence. As you all know, the Commission of Inquiry was open. Sierra Leoneans are called upon to present evidence against people who are involved in acts of corruption. And those the commissions have, that those investigated. And the pieces of evidence that are available to the commissioners know what they looked at.
As we speak now, as you stand there, as a member of the consortium, if you have evidence against any committee who was involved in acts of corruption that can be presented, and the commission will definitely take it on. Those investigations are ongoing and will continue to go on as and when the evidence is available for persons who were involved in acts of corruption to be investigated and prosecuted therein.
Joseph Sanon Israeli. We have listened to the white paper that has been launched. How will my mother in Kailaon, my father in Kabbalah, how will they know, or those that are unable to read and write, how will they know about what is in the white paper?
Thank you very much. That was duly taken under due consideration when papers were submitted for cabinet to look at the report. We did make arrangement for communication aspect of it. Be rest assured that the report and the white paper thereto is going to be communicated throughout the length and the breadth of this country. It will be translated into all local languages. It will be aired and it will be made public to each and every Sierra Leonean, so Sierra Leoneans can be the judges of what has just been launched and what is stewardship of those who is in public trust were during the time they serve as people representing Sierra Leoneans. So be rest assured that the report will be disseminated, it will be translated in the languages people will understand, so that they will know exactly these are the works of the commissioners and the commissions of the power.
Thank you. My name is Matende, newspaper. The President requested for all recommendations to be implemented. I want to know the time frame when recommendations are going to be implemented by the judiciary.
In the white paper that was presented by the government, Cabinet has agreed on the timeline. I need to say that any person or all those who advise findings we have made against, particularly that which has to do with the payment back of the monies, the misappropriated should be paid back into the consolidated fund within 90 days. So within 90 days, those monies or those who advise findings are made against, when they go through the report, they can come and make arrangement for that to happen. Once that has happened, you made that, then the appropriate action will take. But equally so, as the President said, it's a judgment of the High Court. Each and every person at this whom advice finding has been made has the right to appeal or she thinks or feels dissatisfied with the findings of the commission to the inquiry. The timeline as set by Cabinet for the recoveries of all of these monies or assets has been set at 90, except for those properties that the commissioners have said are state-based property. They are bona vacantia, nobody looking forward to see they own them, and that has been vested in the state, and it takes them to vest it in the state immediately.
My name is John Litfield from Akedio. President Gill said that the line has been gone. It will be business as usual, not the charge, and after some time, the return to public office. Are we seeing a situation where public officials will be banned from holding public offices?
Well, the three commissioners made recommendations. Two of them did not make any recommendation for banning anybody from participating in politics. One did make a recommendation, but at the end of the day, during cabinet consideration, His Excellency the President was very clear that his interest about setting up the commission of inquiry was to recover what was stolen from the people of this country and not to stop anybody from participating in politics. That will be left for the people of Sierra Leone to judge when they have read the report and the white paper therein. But as far as the President and the government is concerned, our main trust is to recover what was stolen from the people of this country and put back into the consolidated fund of the development of our country.
Some people work for former President Uma and are now working for President Gill. One shot that was investigated by the Commission of Minister of Land, the now Minister of Lands. Is there anything concerning the now Minister of Lands in the report and the white paper?
The issue of the Minister of Land was investigated, and the commissioner who investigated the Minister of Land did not recommend any adverse findings against the Minister of Lands, and it's all in the report. For the rest, as I said, we are willing to, the report will be made available to you. You will read it and dissect it, and you will see all the recommendations, and those that have been accepted by the government of Australia in the white paper the President has said will be implemented to the letter.
Thank you very much, members of the press. Yes, Mr. Hofana.
Yeah. Sinde Kamara from the newspaper. It could be recalled that the SLDP government acceded power in 2018. And as soon as they acceded in power, they set up the government transition team led by Professor Francis. I just want to know if the SLDP government is going to do any complaints for the persons with interest.
We heard from the President that the recommendations which the government has accepted in the white paper and implemented to the letter. That's the voice of the Commander-in-Chief and Supreme Executive Authority, and he has given instructions to the Attorney General's Office and other law enforcement agencies to implement the recommendations of the commissions of inquiry. And definitely avail ourselves to that responsibility and ensure that the recommendations are followed to the letter.
One, I understand that certain members of the organization, I don't know how to say it, they can let us know any particular possible sort of minister or was sending out. Secondly, we're going in terms of their officers. Secondly, do we know the volume of assets and money that this man passes to?
The first question, of course, definitely one of the commissioners who looked into the activities of some former ministers discharged them with comments and praising them. One such was one Momodu Kabu, who was Minister of Finance and later Bank Governor. Yes, one of the commissioners, Justice Bubele, looked at all his assets, official emoluments, and the way he carried on himself, and this might be recommended that people should research. And there are a couple of them. Not everybody that went to the commission advised families who have made against. Not all assets that we are looked into advised families who have made against. There are some which, like I said, the report to the center. So in terms of the volumes, is very much huge in terms of money-wise. It goes into billions and billions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars. But the two main areas were the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agriculture, and Ministry of Health. Those were the areas where huge sums of money we are actually, according to the findings of the commissions of inquiry, that's appropriated by people who had responsibility to manage those funds.
Thank you very much. We now have the Minister of Information to take over for questions, and also what will be the next steps in terms of government engagement. Because someone was asking how would your mother in Kubura know that the white paper and the reports are here. I think the man who is apt, appropriate, and very qualified to pass that message is the Minister of Information. So also, as a matter of information, we are putting together reports so that you can have access to the report by the time you can. I now hand over to the Minister of Information and Communications, and will be assisted by Deputy.
In line with where press safety stopped, we wanted to know the information channel of the government white paper, especially making sure that it is not politicized and getting the public to be involved and increasing the knowledge of the public, especially those that are not in Freetown, so that every Sierra Leonean will understand what the white paper is about and the methodology government is going to use in getting those information to the people.
Okay, so I respond to this. Okay, so we realize this is a people's question. His Excellency has said time without number that this is not a witch hunt. If anything, it's about hunting for the people's money to pay back so that we can use them to rebuild their lives, which have been battered for long years as a result of corruption. So we realize we will need to collaborate with other people, with members of civil society organizations, with media, with the religious council, various sets of people, including Uganda riders, care riders, everybody who has a role to play will be so competent to make their own input into the dissemination of this people. Because this is about our people. His Excellency has always said, there is corruption that has literally scorched life out of our people. Corruption has hemorrhaged this country. Corruption is the reason why people are not able to have basic essential social services. So we are going to ensure that we have boots on the ground every inch of the way. And that is why we will ensure that there is a sense of general ownership from the government. So yes, as I live here, several meetings are planned with everybody who is somebody in this definition. Okay, so yes, arrangements are now being made for media houses to be giving copies of the white paper. So after here, the information dissemination campaign starts up in earnest. And you'll be sure who will be in every corner. Not necessarily people from the Ministry of Information, it could be a civil society group, it could be the religious council, it could be anybody, because we are building a coalition of the willing, so that we can together fight this country once and for all. Okay, so can we make arrangements for media houses to be giving copies of the report and the white paper? And next step.
Talk to somebody from the Strategic Communications Unit, Elba. Yes, Elba, good morning or good afternoon.
Hello, thanks.
Now the white paper, they out, and I believe a lot of people out there go want for know exactly what they into the white paper and what they into the recommendations where the three judges they make. So how will you feel to say that will reach them?
Well, the report will definitely be out today. Of course, we don't do the launch today, and the report will go out. For the one that we would think probably is intended and like which ones, I believe this is a clear indication from the onset. We then established the commissions, the trials, and of course it being aired live now most of the TV stations, because even everybody will be there always be the follow and see how the transparent nature of the court will be. Additionally, of course, you hear from the Deputy Attorney General that adverse findings have actually been come out from the report. You understand, and all the one them we actually misappropriate government funds or we acquire properties, we actually not be within the reach of the emoluments during the time when they serve. Definitely, government will confiscate the properties.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.